He was texting me from the hospital during a moment when he wasn't on a machine.
It's boring. You're boring everybody. Quit boring everyone.
And he got it at an event where no one wore masks.
Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
Once again, in America, the rule of law, more Americans voted this year than have ever voted in the history of the United States. The votes counted. President Pence received when they won in 2016. Excuse me. The results. And yet, I thank them. And I'm convinced we can work together for the good of the nation.
Does anybody want a cough drop?
Unchained and unstoppable.
I followed the rules. I continue to follow the rules, and you guys still, time after time, are giving me citations, telling me I have to close my business. Are you going to pay my rent?
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
I'm almost tempted to change the poll question, which we came up with early with today about Hunter Biden and the investigation. I'm almost tempted to change it to, do you believe the latest story about Charlie Parker and his friend? His friend. How many unnamed friends? I got a call today from a friend of mine. And he said, guess what happened to me? And I said, what? And he said, I came down with COVID. And I said, oh, really? What are you doing? He said, I'm out walking my dog. He said, it's like having a cold. He said, there are 5 people in my house, 6 people, 4 kids and him and his wife. And 5 of them got it, but they're all okay. And he's just walking his dog. That's my friend, okay? I can produce my friend if I have to. Can Charlie Parker produce his friend? I don't think so. The other thing, I just thought of a new poll question. What kind of cough drops should we send President-elect Dementia Joe for Christmas? Ludens or Smith Brothers? What's your favorite, Smith Brothers or Ludens?
I was going to say, I cannot believe you're not starting with that coughing, clearing the throat subject. That is really bizarre.
I was going to save that right until about right now. I was going to save that until about 3:09. So let's just go with it. Cut 38. Here it is. This is a
Once
minute.
again, in America, the rule of law, more Americans voted this year than have ever voted in the history of the United States. The votes counted. President Pence received when they won in 2016. Excuse me. Or dispute the results margin 4 years ago. And yet, I thank them. And I'm convinced we can work together for the good of the nation on many subjects. That's the duty owed to the people, to our Constitution, to our history. In this battle for the soul of America, democracy prevailed. We, the people, voted. Faith in our institutions held. The integrity of our elections remains intact. And now it's time to turn the page, as we've done throughout our history, to unite, to heal. As I said in this campaign, I will be president for all Americans.
Right.
I'll work just as hard for those of you who didn't vote for me.
Right.
As I will for those who did.
Right.
There's urgent work in front of us. Getting this pandemic under control and getting the nation vaccinated against this virus.
Oh boy. Then as he's walking away with his healthcare proxy, his personal care assistant, also known as Dr. Jill, Steve Ducey's son, Peter's the only one who asked him a question. When did you know your son, your crackhead son, was under investigation? To which Joe responds, thanks for the con. Congratulations. Thanks for the con. That's almost up there with we have put together the most inclusive and extensive voter fraud organization in American political history. Good.
May God protect our troops and all those who stand watch over our democracy. Thank you. Thanks for the congratulations. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the con. Thanks for the grift. Thanks for the gag. Good Lord. 844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. We have much to talk about. The first thing, until I heard the intro, I was going to talk about was it's good to be a Democrat. It's really good to be a Democrat. You know, this guy, Eric Swalwell, he had a Chinese spy literally embedded with him. This was worse than Dianne Feinstein. Although, yes, he's not as powerful as Dianne Feinstein was when she had the Chinese spy driver, but at least I don't think anyone's ever accused her of sleeping with the guy. And, you know, he was just picking her up and listening, eavesdropping. This woman was with the guy all the time, plus she was raising money for him. Do you know how many stories the New York Times has devoted to this?
Random guess. I'm going to say goose eggs?
Ding, 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 ding. Yes, indeed.
A big fat zero?
It is a big fat zero.
Wow.
Think of it, Donald Trump Jr. and Kushner, the son-in-law, and Paul Manafort, then the campaign manager, had a 20 minute meeting with this Russian that was sent in by the Clinton campaign. And it was a story for over a year. Donald Trump Jr. testified before multiple commissions. He never slept with the woman. And it was covered front to back. And this is a real story. This is a guy who's on the intelligence committee, who's in the Gang of Eight. You know, the guys who get the intelligence briefings. And he was sleeping allegedly with a Chinese spy. And the New York Times can't bring itself to write anything about it. But hey, same thing with Cuomo, with these allegations of sexual harassment. I mean, granted, that's a lot less serious of a story than sleeping with a Chinese spy. But did you know that none of these hack networks have devoted a single the only Democrat network that has mentioned the Cuomo charges, the fact that this former aide of his, who's now running for Manhattan borough president, says that she was sexually harassed by him. The only Democrat network that mentioned this is Fox. It's just amazing. It's just it's incredible. 781 says the threshold of the corona test is so low we get tons of positives that the people really won't get it or give it to anyone. But rest easy, it will be over after Trump is gone. Then it will be, look at what we did. I hope you're right. I mean, if that's I don't want Trump to be gone. I still hope he pulls it out, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm not sure it's going to be over. They're having too much fun.
That's what I thought too. I was part of the group of people who thought that, you know, no matter what happened on November 3rd, that this thing would be over. But I agree with you. I think that they're enjoying this a little too much. They're just stomping their foot on our faces, and they kind of like
even
it.
Joe Biden has figured out that Democrats got stomped on November the 3rd. He said that last week to the blacks. And so this is the only way they can win elections now, is through this scam. And they're just going to try to move it down. I mean, they're going to have this mail-in ballot. This is Democrat fun. It used to be 10-on-1 is Democrat fun, like a riot, an Antifa riot. Now it's mail-in ballot is Democrat fun, because they can vote 10 times for every time we can vote once. And then if you accuse them of anything, they say you're a conspiracy theorist, or if it happens in the wrong or the right place, depending on where it is, they call you a racist for saying that there was something amiss in Detroit or Philadelphia. It's just it's quite the mess. 844-500-4242. Yeah, 781. The threshold of the corona test is so low, we get tons of positives that the people really won't get it or give it to anyone. But rest easy, it will be over. Yeah, it's not going to. No, I'm going back to that again. This guy that called me up. His daughter, I think she was supposed to be at UMass, but of course she's not there. She's at home after he has to pay some tuition. And so she thought she was sick, so she went down to get the test. So he went with her, and she had to call a few times to find out. And they never called him to tell him he tested positive. He had to keep calling. But, you know, every day Charlie Parker's on TV talking about how, you know, if we don't do anything, half the population is going to be dead by Christmas. But they don't bother to call and tell him he's got the virus. And he said, it's like having a cold. All right. Okay. Now I have a big announcement for people who want the thunderstorm. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm BOGO offer is ending on Thursday, December 31st at midnight. With over 60,000 sold, the Thunderstorm is slated to sell out. If you bought one and love it the way I love mine, then order now and you'll have two. Debbie from Auburn, Maine wrote us, wet dogs, sausage and eggs and cigars at Thanksgiving were no match for the Thunderstorm. I like it so much I'm giving them as gifts. Our listeners love the Thunderstorm air purifier. The Thunderstorm is a small device you can hold in your hand, as I'm doing, and plug into the wall to purify the air from any odor. Right, Grace?
It's so true. And it is a really great gift. And I didn't think about that for Christmas because people are spending so much time at home right now, and you start to feel stuffy and you want the air to feel fresh and to feel good. So that is a really great gift. Plus, everyone can use it. You're not going to find someone who says, oh, I have no use for this.
Yeah. Like my friend with 6 people in the house. I mean, and a storm is coming. The windows aren't going to be open. What are you going to do?
You get your own storm, the thunderstorm.
That's right. It keeps everything clean. It purifies the air from any odor. It could be pet odors, kitchen smells, tobacco, or that damp smell lingering in your basement. When you take advantage of the BOGO offer, each thunderstorm is below $100 and doesn't take up any room. Also, no filters are needed. Take advantage of the BOGO offer before it expires on New Year's Eve. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word HowieBOGO. That's EdenPure.com, HowieBOGO. Shipping is free. I'm Howie Carr.
Keep it here, chumps. More Howie Carr after this.
There you go. This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Ginger Betty's. It's Christmas time, and that means one thing, Ginger Betty's. To order all your favorite sweets for shipping or delivery, go to gingerbetties.com. And don't forget to donate to GI Betty's, delivering sweets to our military families.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaffes anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall, anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Christmas.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920, not 2020.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride. Best rapper alive, Tupac. He's not. You say he lives on. Not alive. I know. I keep doing that. A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration. We have have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety. And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us. I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
All right, G-Dope, I want to do my share of the work.
Howie Carr is back.
Well, I got a chance here. Let me clear my throat.
The hell is that, Taylor?
That's "Let Me Clear My Throat."
Oh, okay.
by
Well,
DJ
in that case, it's appropriate.
Of course it is.
I was just wondering where it sort of came out of nowhere.
What the hell was that?
That was my impression of Joe Biden.
If only Joe had a doctor that he knew that he could see about that throat problem he has.
That woman who let him off the stage last night, that's his healthcare proxy, you know. People have personal care assistants. Don't they call them PCAs? Make something everyone will enjoy this holiday season with HelloFresh. Get fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and simple, wholesome recipes delivered to your door contact-free. Sign up today and get $80 off in savings when you use code Howie at HelloFresh.com. HelloFresh.com. Taylor, what is the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Should the DOJ have revealed that Hunter Biden was under federal investigation before the election?
You know, in a perfect world, the answer is no. But we live in an imperfect world, as we've all come to that sad conclusion many years ago now. And considering the fact that Bob Mueller, having drilled the driest of wells in the Russian collusion hoax matter, said he couldn't say for sure that President Trump was not guilty, I think that erased all the rules for the Justice Department. So I think, yes, he should have released whatever info he had about Hunter Biden, because they would have done it to Donald Trump. They tried to do it to Donald Trump. They tried to frame Donald Trump. Yes, they should have done it.
95% say yes.
No, I thought there'd be a few more purists, people who believe in that outdated concept that you are innocent until
right now,
guilty.
apparently 7% say no. So we have a 102% poll result right now.
100. Is this poll being tabulated in Wayne County or Philadelphia? Where is this poll?
HowieCarShow.com is now employing the use of Dominion tabulating machines to take our polls.
Oh my goodness. 844-500-4242. This is not exactly a plagiarism incident, but it shows the lack of imagination in the Biden camp. And of course, Biden doesn't know what he's reading. He can't read it properly most of the time. But this is Margaret Thatcher quoting St. Francis after her first election in the United Kingdom back in the 1970s or early 1980s. Cut 33.
And I would just like to remember some words of St. Francis of Assisi, which I think are really just particularly apt at the moment. Where there is discord, may we bring harmony. Where there is error, may we bring truth. Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. And where there is despair, may we bring hope.
That was then. Cut 26 is now.
As in the prayer of St. Francis, for where there is discord, union. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is darkness, light. This is who we are as a nation.
Is there an echo in here?
No, Howie. He must have called her and asked for permission, right?
Has he said that she was alive?
You had people like Margaret Thatcher, you had people like the former chairman and leader of the party in Germany.
What's her name? Merkel? Merkel has shut down Christmas, and they haven't quite gotten around to that yet. They used to have the little box on the front page of the newspaper. Only 10 days till Christmas. Only 10 shopping days left till Christmas. 9 days left till Christmas. We don't know. It could be 1 day left until Christmas, or it could be 10 days left and shopping days left till Christmas. It just depends on the whims of the ruling class. You heard on Rush's show, Bill Gates was saying that it's maybe 2022. It's a tough break for the restaurants, but that's just the way it goes. I think we played a little bit of that yesterday. That guy is worth like 50-60 billion dollars, right? It's easy for him to say, we could be locked down for another 6 months. It's no skin off his rear end. It's certainly a lot of skin off of everybody's rear end who owns a restaurant or a gym. We're going to talk to the people from the gym. 844-500-4242, 617. It appears that government leaks work the exact same way that glitches work, one way. Exactly. There was never a leak saying, Mueller's team of angry Democrats is a year and a half into their investigation, and they haven't turned up even a jaywalking citation or an overdue library book or a fishing without a license from a lake against the Trump campaign. You never saw a leak like that, did you? It was always just bombshells and walls closing in. That's the way it goes. So I'm tired of everything going one way. It's got to start having equal rules. If you have two sets of rules, pretty soon you don't have any rules, because the people who are on the short end of the rules and are being treated differently, they're not going to put up with it forever. 844-500-4242. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
Our regular listeners know that I'm engaged, and I love my ring. There is no better way to keep my ring sanitized than the Kathy Ireland Gem Spa. The Gem Spa keeps everything safe and secure while your dishwasher does the hard work. Everyone who uses it loves it. It's selling fast, and they will run out before Christmas. Get yours now. Go to mygemspa.com, use promo code GRACE, and save 20%. Men, you can be the gift-buying star this Christmas. Order now at mygemspa.com, and don't forget promo code GRACE to save 20%.
Do you have no water, poor water quality, or low pressure? This is Howie Carr. Call the water experts serving Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Skillings & Sons. They're ready with 24-hour service and a fleet of trucks stocked with parts to make sure you're not without water. With over 50 years of experience, they take pride in having a family of employees that are the best in the business. For all things water, Skillings & Sons is there for you. skillingsandsons.com. The Democrat Party is so full of loonies, social justice warriors, progressives, whatever you want to call them, that sometimes certain moonbats get overlooked. So let's take this moment to shine the woke spotlight on Crazy Maisie Hirono.
I am not going to be a fool to Mitch McConnell's shenanigans. Why should any of us? And it's not just a dog whistle, it's a bullhorn. Bullhorns. It's racism. It's basically, for many people, it's anti-Semitic. It's white supremacy.
Why not take a stand and vote yes for it? Seems like you're trying to have it both ways, not be hung by it politically, but also not say that you don't support it.
I disagree with you, Katie, that why should we engage in the kind of sham shenanigans that Mitch McConnell is really good at? I'm confused. This was just a sham. Guess who's perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country. And I just want to say to the men of this country, just shut up and step up. I think the noose is closing, and, Giuliani is like a loose cannon, and so is the president, frankly.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride. Best rapper alive, Tupac. He's not. You say he lives on. Not alive. I know. I keep doing that. A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety. And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Hey, Howie?
Yes.
So both of the gym owners are on the line. It's Ian Smith and Frank Trombetti.
Frank Trombetti? Trombetti, okay. I got it, okay.
Rarer form than when he's speaking at a rally. Take a listen.
I hit Pocahontas way too early. I thought she was gone. She's emerged from the ashes. And now it looks like she could beat Sleepy Joe. He's fallen asleep. He has no idea what the hell he's doing or saying.
I don't know. I'm not a vain person. But I look better under an incandescent light than these crazy lights that are beaming down on. That guy's got a serious weight problem. Go home, start exercising. Got a bigger problem than I do. Now he goes home and his mom says, "What the hell have you just done?" How do you top that? I'm just ready, the big, beautiful crescendo, and this character's going back home. One person just going home to mommy a little bit sooner. These are phony people, but that's okay. You know, when you think of it, I'm president and they're not.
You really have to elect me. Whether you like me or not, it makes no difference because our country will go to hell if any of these people get in.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
You know, these lockdowns are going on all over the country. Businesses are going under by the day. A restaurant in San Francisco that has been open since 1863 just announced it's going to shut. The Cliff House. It lasted through the San Francisco earthquake, but it couldn't last through Gavin Newsom's administration. So in New Jersey, they have the highest death rate in the country, and the governor is Phil Murphy, who went to high school with our governor Charlie Baker here in Massachusetts. They went to the same high school, Harvard College as well after that, and he's a real hardliner. He likes to go out for dinner with his family and no masks, but he's a real hardliner, especially when it comes to gyms. And there's a New Jersey gym. You may have seen him on TV on Fox. It's the Attilas Gym in Belmar, and they've been open in defiance of the governor's orders, and their fines, assessed fines, are now up to $1.2 million. $1.2 million for this gym. And joining us on the line now are the owners of the Attilas Gym in New Jersey, Ian Smith and Frank Trombetti. Thanks for being with us, guys.
Thanks for having us, Howie.
Thank you for having us, Howie.
What's the latest? Have you guys gotten the $15,000 fine yet today, or are they going to wait till tomorrow to give you the next one?
As starting on October 8th, the fines that were currently being assessed are not because we're open. That's what they originated as. But once gyms were open, Governor Murphy sent us a personal request saying that we had to sign a legal certification that we would mandate masks. And if not, we would be fined every day therein, $15,497.76. And on October 8th, we sent a certification saying that we would not mandate masks. So every day since then, we are fined $15,000 for not forcing our customers to wear masks.
But yet, my understanding is there haven't been any infections linked to your business. That's correct, isn't it?
That is correct. Since June 16th, we have had 86,355 people as of midnight last night that have come through our business, and they have not had a single COVID outbreak linked to us.
And so,
No.
so do reporters ever ask the governor about this? You know, when he has a press conference in Trenton, or is he ever is he ever subjected to any kind of hostile inquiries about this?
The reporters that typically give the press conference, Frank actually listens to every single one. Play a very, very nice game of softball with Governor Murphy for the most part, with most of his questions, including our gym, but also including the rampant infections that still are going on in our long-term care facilities, which here in New Jersey, if I'm correct, Frank, are
300 right now. As of midnight last night in the state of New Jersey, there are 395 COVID outbreaks in long-term care facilities, representing 8,642 cases. And actually, 4,512 of them are actually employees of the long-term care facilities, which is insanity to me, because he's trying to tell us how to run our house, and he can't run his own. And we have had 86,355 people come through here, going through our protocol. We've had an epidemiologist come through here and do an efficacy study of our protocol. And we were told, actually in legal documents, that we will submit to the state as evidence, against their lack of science, that this is actually the safest building and the safest protocol that they've seen in the entire country. But yet we still are getting fined. Those numbers. And the fact that we're getting fined for not implementing the mask is even actually crazier to me, because he actually started to reassess those fines for not wearing a mask on October 8th, when on October 12th, they passed an executive order, and the executive order opened up all indoor high risk and moderate and light risk sports for full contact indoor use. And actually in their own executive orders, along with NewJersey.com, the World Health Order, they actually specifically say that they do not recommend masks or cloth facial coverings during times of extreme aerobic or anaerobic activities, or during any time when your mask could become damp or wet. And that's exactly what we do in the gym.
Yeah, right. You get sweaty. I mean, everybody knows that. Have you guys been arrested yet, or are they just fining you? Is it just a civil violation?
We were arrested back in August.
That's what I thought.
July 27th. And that was because at that point, they had already locked our doors on us once, and we regained access, and they were threatening to come do it again. So Frank and I, at that point, when it was official that they were coming, we took the doors off of the hinges so that they couldn't lock them, and we stayed inside the building for 24 hours a day until they finally came in with the county sheriffs and arrested us. At which point we came back later, and our doors were boarded up, and later that week we kicked them in
on August 1st
and resumed business operations. And that was the last time that we were arrested.
And by the way, we don't charge our members a membership fee. All of our members have not actually paid since April 1st. So for those who think that this is about money and everything that goes along with it, it's the total opposite. This is our goal here is to take the powers away from these governors. I mean, their executive orders are not laws, and they're not dictators. So we're doing everything we can, and we will actually thank all of our supporters and everything have actually given us a very big backbone to follow through with this and see this to the end, and make sure that actually that we come out on the right side of it, but not we as in us, we as in all of the citizens of the entire country, because these governors, have overstepped their boundaries. They're not dictators. They shouldn't have the right to actually continue to extend these executive orders without actually going to the legislature.
It's the same problem that all these states have, especially Massachusetts. It's like Murphy and Baker. They went to the same high school, the same college. It's like they're twins, and they act in the same high-handed way. But what do you guys see as the end game here? I mean, because just like Charlie Baker in Massachusetts, Murphy seems to be reveling in this, and same with Pritzker, Wolf, Newsom, Inslee, all these guys, even Cooper in North Carolina, they love this. I don't care what they say. Don't you agree? When does this end?
We absolutely agree with that. What we're tangling with is government out of control. And government out of control is the result of having selfish, self-serving, career politicians who get into office and forget that the idea of getting into public office is that you're a servant to the public, that you work for the public. Somewhere along the line, a lot of these individuals have gotten that concept sort of flipped upside down, where they get elected and they feel as if they have some sort of power over people, and that's not the case. And Governor Murphy even said it on Tucker Carlson, that he doesn't when he works, he's not thinking about the Bill of Rights. Well, that is your
I remember
first
that.
and only duty is to operate within the guidelines that are set out in the United States federal Constitution as well as the Constitution of your state. So what you're dealing with here is power-hungry individuals who are at best selfish and at worst very malicious people.
You have some Republicans in New Jersey. Are any of the Republicans helping you or introducing legislation to try to, constrain this governmental overreach in some way?
The GOP in New Jersey actually tried to file a lawsuit to sue Governor Murphy, so he had to go through the judiciary so he could not extend the executive orders by himself. And the same judge that actually has been, giving him every other answer that he wanted so he can penalize people, refused to allow the GOP to sue him for that. That is what we're dealing with here. Okay, it is absolute insanity. The GOP was not allowed to sue Governor Murphy to stop his extension of executive orders. Do we need to really say anything else?
We're dealing with sort of systemic violations here. It's not just Governor Murphy. The reason that Governor Murphy and all these governors and local officials, whether it be city mayors or whatever, are getting away with this is because there are failures in the system of checks and balances. These state judges are not doing their job. They're going along with it. Judge Robert Lughi here in New Jersey is in a perfect example of a lapdog judge. He's interested in becoming Attorney General. He's been an Assistant Attorney General before. Anything that Murphy has needed in terms of applying or keeping his power in place for COVID, Judge Robert Lughi will immediately sign off on, no matter how absurd, no matter how gross the constitutional violation.
Sounds like our SJC here in Massachusetts. It's the exact same thing. I mean, these two states, and throw in New York, they're all like mirror images of each other. And a legislature that basically doesn't care, a lapdog judiciary, and a egomaniac, out of control governor.
Absolutely. That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah. So the idea for us and for anybody who is going to get in the ring and kind of push back against this stuff is that it's a 12-round fight. And it's one of those Rocky stories where you're going to lose every single battle and every single round all the way up to round 12. And that's by design. It's a typical David versus Goliath kind of thing where they're going to try to beat you down and beat you back and throw every obstacle in your way. They're going to try to financially bankrupt you. They're going to slow roll when they need to. They're going to try to arrest you. They're going to threaten you with financial ruin with these fines. They're going to take your business license. They're going to take your liquor license. They're going to do all these things to scare you and get you to quit because they know that in the end, when you get in front of a court that respects the Constitution, these things will fall.
Good luck, though, getting to that court. Where are you going to find that court? My old saying is, in the halls of justice, the only justice is in the halls. And it certainly seems that way in New Jersey, just like Massachusetts.
We're not going to win in the state of New Jersey. It's going to have to go all the way through that and plan on losing and hope that when we get to the actual federal court system that we win and it's found to be unconstitutional, and then everything that we lose in the state will disappear anyway because you can't have one without the other. If it's found to be unconstitutional, things he has done, then everything else will disappear, including the fines.
What's it like in your area? You're in kind of a suburban area with a lot of other small businesses. What's left in your neck of the woods?
It's tough. There's a lot of restaurants that are struggling. It's just like most of your mom and pops they're either shut down or they're in fear of having to shut down permanently. Right now the gyms are open. As far as that goes, who knows how much longer that's going to happen because everybody around us is shutting down permanently. indoor dining has to stop at a certain time, and then it's you got to go outside. You can't stand it at a bar or at a bar inside of a restaurant. You can only sit at the tables.
Right. And now you got a snowstorm headed your way. As if business wasn't bleak enough, Now this nor'easter is roaring up the coast tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's absolutely absurd that they're totally comfortable with asking businesses to or demanding that businesses operate in this manner. These people have not sacrificed a single thing through all of this, and they are demanding sacrifice from what they view as the lower class. At the end of the day, Governor Murphy goes home. I mean, this is a guy that travels via private helicopter, telling people to be patient, telling people to close their businesses, calling people knuckleheads for wanting to have their families over on Thanksgiving or for Christmas, or shaming kids, like his most recent tweet, shaming kids for killing their parents and grandparents because of social.
Go ahead, Grace, my producer.
The other thing I want to say, guys, is I'm not a big gym person. I don't go a lot, but my cousin goes all the time. And she said, when you go to the gym, you're usually going by yourself. It's a way to, vent a little bit, get out your energy, but it's not a social event. You don't go to the gym and say to a bunch of people, let's all go to my house to watch the game after. You just go, you do your own thing, and then you leave. And even before COVID, you were sanitizing the places you were at. So it just doesn't seem like they're following any data.
And they're absolutely not. I mean, gyms, the data is very clear, and it's come from all over the world, and not just the United States. But gyms have some of the lowest infection rates out of any building that you walk into. Coincidentally, some of the highest are places like Amazon and actually government buildings.
Why don't you change your name to Target
or
Walmart? The Walmart gym or the Peaceful Protest gym. All right, we got to break. Ian Smith and Frank Trombetti, we'll check in with you again, and thank you for doing this. And you guys really are fighting the good fight, and we're with you. We hope you prevail over this injustice. Thank you. Sitting is the new smoking. That's why you need the Backstrong chair. I've been using the Backstrong chair for the last few weeks, and I feel great. That soreness and stiffness you get when you sit too long while working? It's gone. My body feels good when I'm sitting in my Backstrong office chair. And this is important when I get out of the chair to walk around. I feel refreshed. Poorly designed office chairs can lead to severe pains in your back, neck, and shoulder muscles, but not the Backstrong chair. It guarantees you good posture. You literally cannot slouch, all while stimulating circulation and improving flexibility. The patented Backstrong chair was designed by a nationally recognized chiropractor to help you overcome discomfort from sitting too long. The chair keeps you moving throughout the day, which is what your back, body, and brain need to be healthy and pain-free. When you sit better, you feel better. If you're spending more time at home now for whatever reason, you need a chair where you can sit in it and not feel worse when you get up out of it. That's where the Backstrong chair comes in. It is the best ergonomic chair for reducing back and neck pain, and it's super comfortable, perfect for your home or your office. Backed by hundreds of 5-star reviews and a 60-day money-back guarantee. To get yours, go to Backstrong.com today to save $100 and get free shipping. Use discount code Howie. Remember, save $100 and get free shipping on your Backstrong chair at Backstrong.com. Use discount code Howie. That's Backstrong.com, discount code Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
Born in Maine, made in Massachusetts, and now a resident of the Sunshine State, Howie Carr, the original carpetbagger.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Bigfoot Maple Syrup. For that special someone, order 1 quart of their famous maple syrup with chocolate-covered blueberries. Order now for Christmas delivery at BigfootMaple.com. The Moonbats always say Donald Trump isn't very bright. But what about Barack Hussein Obama? Let's listen to some of his greatest hits.
I've now been in 57 states. I think 1 left to go. I don't know what the term is in Austrian. The Cambridge police acted stupidly. And there has never been any man or woman more qualified for this office than Hillary Clinton. Their neighborhoods around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book. I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper. If we fall for, a bunch of okey doke. A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
You've been hearing me talk about super beats for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why super beats? You could take it from me. The benefits of super beats are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind super beats. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
What impact do you think Russian interference had in the election?
I think it was one of the major contributors to the outcome.
Years from the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level. Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them. It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again. So, of course, he's obsessed with me.
There's no silencing him. They've tried.
You're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my opinion.
Howie Carr.
I should have mentioned to those guys that I talked about New Jersey, Massachusetts, New York. They all seem to be carbon copies of each other. You know what the 3 highest death rate states in the country are? Yes, I'm sure you do. New Jersey is number 1. New York is number 2. Massachusetts is number 3. Nursing home deaths, Massachusetts and New Jersey. I can't remember which is which, but they're the same. They're flipping 1 and 2. And the only reason New York is down around number 20 is they changed the way they were recording nursing home deaths because, well, you know why. I won't be coming back to Massachusetts this year for my annual birthday bash for obvious reasons that we've just been discussing, right? Instead, I'm having a contest for 2 lucky listeners to visit me here in beautiful Palm Beach. Entry is free. Go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on my birthday banner. We will pay for your air and hotel to America. This is America, still. But the best part is a dinner with me on my birthday, Sunday, January 17th. I'll also be giving the winners a private tour of Palm Beach with all the juicy stories. You'll need a tie and jacket as the winners will be going someplace very special on my birthday with a dress code. Entry is free. Just go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on the birthday banner.
Wait, so Howie, let me get this straight. When you say entry is free, people don't have to buy anything.
No.
They just have to go to the contest and enter it.
Yes.
Okay, just
correct.
being sure. You are a cheap bastard, so I thought there'd be an angle there.
No,
but.
no, there is no angle. There is no angle. 844-500-4242. We come back. We're going to have Grace's news. We got a lot of stuff to get to here today. And Charlie Parker had a press conference, and there was another real doozy. No Christmas. He's, you people didn't take his hectoring and his lecturing to heart properly. And so That's why we've had a spike at Thanksgiving. It's your fault, not his fault. He told you what to do. Now you
It's his friend's
punished.
fault.
Now you must be punished. You plebeian. I'm Howie Carr. Let HelloFresh heat up mealtime at home this holiday season with simple recipes and fresh, high-quality ingredients. Sourced directly from farmers and delivered to your door contact-free. With more than 23 weekly recipes to choose from, there's something for everyone to enjoy, including family-friendly, vegetarian, and low-calorie choices. You can finally say goodbye to never-ending meal planning and prepping. HelloFresh recipes are easy to follow with simple steps and pictures to help you along the way. You can get meals on the table in as little as 20 minutes. Plus, by skipping the store, you save up to 40% on groceries and cut down on food waste by 25%. That's something we can all celebrate this holiday season. Go to HelloFresh.com and use code Howie to get $80 off, including free shipping, and join America's #1 meal kit today. That's code Howie for $80 off in savings at HelloFresh.com. I've seen a lot of Anchor cupcakes in my day. Here are some of the latest network nitwits.
Danny says, if I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Correct me, there already are term limits, so what does he mean? And what are we hearing in the background? Is that shelling?
No, Katie, you're actually hearing that from here in Jerusalem, and it's actually fireworks going off right behind me.
We're in our tribes, we're in our corners most of our lives. I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second? Control room? So that's not gunshots? Okay.
Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically in that way, he shouldn't talk about the first lady that way. We aren't all here to make salads for men. It's disgusting.
I mean, I'm presuming he was talking about Karen Pence when he said second lady.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. Not Montana. I'm talking about no, never mind.
Yeah, no, Chester, I mean, that's the
I was getting Montana and North Dakota confused because, I don't know, I just was.
He might not be flashy, but he's there when it counts. Here's 1 minute of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
For the first time in my memory, I agree with Nancy Pelosi. I am indeed the Grim Reaper when it comes to the socialist agenda that they've been ginning up over in the House.
You've watched the fight, you've watched the tactics, but here's what I want to tell you. In the very near future, Judge Kavanaugh will be on the United States Supreme Court. Noted with great interest the Green New Deal. And we're going to be voting on that in the Senate. We'll give everybody an opportunity to go on record and see how they feel about the Green New Deal.
Well, first on the impartiality issue, do you think Chuck Schumer's impartial? Do you think Elizabeth Warren is impartial?
No.
Bernie Sanders is impartial? So let's quit the charade. This is a political exercise. Nobody is supposed to be guilty until proven innocent in the United States of America. Look, we're at an impasse. We can't do anything until the speaker sends the papers over. So everybody enjoy the holidays.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
Here's Donald Trump Jr. proving once and for all the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
They hate Trump more than they love America. For them to try to take a pandemic and seemingly hope that it comes here and kills millions of people so that they could end Donald Trump's streak of winning. I don't know if this is coronavirus or Trump derangement syndrome, but these people are infected badly. To make this guy into a religious scholar, that's like saying Jeffrey Dahmer is a purveyor of organic and fine exotic meats. Adam Schiff is basically the Jussie Smollett of Congress on steroids. Children are off limits. Remember this one? If 13-year-old Barron Trump is not off limits, Hunter Biden sure as is not off limits. Because my name is Trump, if I took $1.5 from China, not $1.5 billion like Hunter, their heads would explode.
Who's your favorite Democrat? Go ahead.
Mitt Romney, Gail. Mitt Romney's my favorite Democrat. How about that? Please, Lord, in my next life, make me a leftist so I can say anything and get away with it.
There are plenty of differences between Trump and the Democrats running for 2020, but the main one is Trump's pretty funny. Take a listen.
What advice would you give to the 25-year-old Donald Trump knowing what you know today?
Don't run for president. I'm not a drinker. I can honestly say I never had a beer in my life, okay? It's one of my only good traits. I don't drink. Whenever they're looking for something good, I say, I never had a glass of alcohol. I've never had alcohol. Can you imagine if I had? What a mess I'd be. I'd be the world's worst. Other countries, big countries, India and others, we had to pay because they considered them a growing country. They were a growing country. I said, what are we? Okay, are we allowed to grow too? Okay. No, are we allowed to grow? I try like hell to hide that bald spot, folks. I work harder. Doesn't look bad. Hey, we're hanging in. I should have saved the Pocahontas thing for another year because I've destroyed her political career and now I won't get a chance to run against her and I would have loved it. I don't want to knock out all of the good stuff and end up with somebody that's actually got talent. That would be terrible.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
The first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean.
And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
President Trump is clearly ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be the president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings. Congresswoman Harris, Congressman Senator, did I say Senator Harris? He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many ways that it's almost a given. It's like a child who comes in with mud on their pants or something.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
It's one thing to say, you ran a great race. Congratulations. I'm okay with that. But they didn't. They didn't run a good race.
It's about sportsmanship and compassion.
They ran a horrible race from the basement. They ran a race where he didn't even run.
Dirty, dirty, dirty.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
I got a text message the other day from a friend of mine.
I came here because I have this friend.
Oh, really? What's his name?
Name? Johnny Table.
Who is no fan of most of what I've done over the course of the past 10 months. And he was texting me from the hospital during a moment when he wasn't on a machine.
It's boring. You're boring everybody. Quit boring everyone.
And he got it at an event where no one wore masks.
Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
Once again, in America, the rule of law, more Americans voted this year than have ever voted in the history of the United States. The votes counted than Pence received when they won in 2016. Excuse me. The results. And yet, I thank them. And I'm convinced we can work together for the good of the nation.
Does anybody want a cough drop?
Unchained and unstoppable.
I followed the rules. I continue to follow the rules, and you guys still, time after time, are giving me citations, telling me I have to close my business. Are you going to pay my rent?
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
All Joe Biden wants for Christmas in his stocking is some cough drops. Luden's or Smith Brothers. Depends. Doesn't matter, really. Either one will do. As for that guy you heard screaming, that's Nick the Greeks in California. And they weren't getting him for any kind of sanitation violations. You know what they were getting him for? As a protest against the ban on outdoor dining in most of California, he had left his outdoor tables outdoors. He hadn't taken them in, and they decided to shut him down for that. Is this a little bit out of control? Have we flattened the curve yet?
And if you haven't watched that entire video, you really should, because it is so chilling to hear them talk to him like he's crazy. They're saying, well, if you just done this, then you could be open right now. No, you could be. And he's screaming. He's so frustrated.
Yeah. No, he's losing it. I mean, because he's losing his business. I mean, I'm sure he's worked. There was a great story in the New York Post on Sunday. I haven't gotten around to reading it yet by this woman, Rona Davis. She's an immigrant from Guyana or somewhere. She's married to an American, and they opened a restaurant in Brooklyn, and they were destroyed. They sold their condo in Brooklyn to get the money to open the restaurant because they couldn't get any bank loans. They finally gotten into the black when COVID-19 hit. Now they're all her brother and her sister and the nephew. They're all living in this tiny apartment that the parents own. That's all they got left. They had $300,000 sunk into this restaurant in Brooklyn, Bushwick. The most they can get out of it, the most offer they've gotten is $75,000. So they're destroyed. They're destroyed. And like Nick the Greek there in California.
And Howie, I have to say, I know that when President Trump announced that he was not going to take a salary for 4 years, and he didn't, he donated his salary to a variety of different causes. I know that was poo-pooed by the left. You know, they came up with all these articles about, how he'll get a tax write-off, and it really doesn't mean anything. But I'm just curious. Some of these politicians, specifically the old ones, have more money than God. Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, they have plenty of money.
Dementia Joe.
So, I'm sorry, Joe Biden. So, are they going to forego a paycheck? Is Joe Biden going to give up his pay for 4 years? I just want to know.
That'll be the day.
That'll
be the day. So a texter just pointed out we were talking about all the crap that Bill Gates is saying. Oh, the restaurants it's sad, but the restaurants are going to have to stay closed for another 6 months at least. We may get back to somewhat near normal in 2022. Why doesn't he take a little bit of his excess capital? Has he made some profits that he doesn't really need? Just $30-40 billion that he could put into a relief fund for all these people, all businesses, all these small businesses that have been destroyed.
It's really something. And speaking of that, I do want to start with a story that I saw today on Twitter. Meet the Press put out a tweet. They said, as one of the first vaccinated people in New Haven is planning on traveling after the second dose, Vin Gupta, MD, reacts. And it says, this is the quote, just because you get vaccinated after the second dose does not mean you should be traveling. You could still get infected and pass it along to others. Sean Davis from The Federalist replied to this and said, this right here is a great way to convince a ton of people to not even bother with the vaccine they're already worried about. And I just have to say, I've noticed this. I noticed it a few weeks ago. Frank Mendoza mentioned it yesterday, restaurant owner from the North End, Monica's. This should be a great moment for us. It's been a really dark time for a lot of people. And now there's a vaccine, one that they said over and over was not going to come out this fast. And instead of, ushering in this new era of hope, they're saying, even when you get the vaccine, don't think you're going to that trip to Aruba.
It's called moving the goalposts. And Charlie Parker said today, he said, well, this isn't going to go on forever. I want to find out who are these friends of his that keep getting sick and calling him up from the hospital. And number two, I want to know, what proof do you have, or would you put that in writing that this is not going to be forever? Because it has been forever. You said it was going to be for 15 days. That was now 8 months ago.
And also, it doesn't cost you any money. It doesn't cost you, anything to be positive and to instill hope in people. I'm so sick of this need from the media to be doom and gloom about absolutely everything. Do you know the doctors outside Boston Medical Center and all of these hospitals in Boston, they're out dancing. They're so happy to have the vaccine. And all these politicians keep talking about is, don't think it's over yet. And I have to agree with you, Howie. You said this in the last hour. They like it too much. They're addicted to it. They're just squishing us like
They're addicted
bugs.
to it. And the thing is, it's like those gym owners from New Jersey said in the last hour. They're not getting any pushback. The judges are totally worthless. The judges are all lefties, and they're just in on it. Very few of them have ever been in private practice. They're just careerists, and they want to move up like that guy in Jersey that's screwing those gym owners in Belmar. And the legislature is content to do nothing. I mean, there are a handful of people in all these states that are trying to do something, but everybody else is just happy to sit at home and get a paycheck and let the governors and the other executives, the mayors, take the heat on this.
I totally agree. And before I read you my favorite bad take of the day, a tweet that did not age well that went viral, I want to let everyone know that Grace's News is brought to you by Tux Trucks GMC in Hudson, Mass. There's going to be tons of snow this week in New England. Make sure you go to tuxtrucksgmc.com or call 1-800-MY-TRUCK. Get your Fisher plow. You don't have to install it. They'll do everything for you. They have all different kinds for all different cars. So get yourself to Tux Trucks GMC and tell them Grace sent you. Okay, Howie, the next story I wanted to hit on really briefly here. There's this woman, she's a CNN analyst.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Not a legal analyst.
Is she an expert? Do we have to call her doctor?
Her name is Jessica Huseman. And in May, on May 14th.
Stat. Dr. Huseman. Stat. That means emergency in hospital lingo.
Thank you, Dr. Carr. In May, Donald Trump tweeted, good numbers coming out of the states that are opening. America is getting its life back. Vaccine work is looking very promising before end of year. Likewise, other solutions. This was Jessica's take on that tweet. Go ahead and flag this tweet for when we do not have that vaccine by the end of the year. So now everyone's retweeting her and saying, flagging the tweet, Jessica. Flagging the tweet. And I just love stories like that. By the way, Howie, before I tell you one more thing about another one of your favorite Democrats, do you care if I do a little self-promotion here?
Go ahead.
I've got a show coming out January 4th, 2021. That's right around the corner. It's on RKO from 12 to 3. It's also, I'm just announcing this. I'm excited to announce that Binny Media has also signed on. That includes stations like WTPL, and I'm so excited. Tons of stations. So I wanted to thank
Three
everyone.
more in New Hampshire. 3 in New Hampshire.
So now we're, all over New England.
2 FMs, 1 AM.
Exactly. And I'm super excited. I want to thank Mini Media. I want to thank iHeart and RKO for having so much faith in me and for believing in me. This is going to be super fun. So make sure you tune in. And lastly, Howie, I just wanted to leave you with this. Mayor de Blasio will ride subway to prove it's safe amid COVID-19.
Now, remember, this is the same guy who, as the virus was spreading out of control, was telling people to go to the movies, go see a Broadway play. It's Chinese New Year. Get down to Chinatown.
Didn't he also go to the gym the day the gym's closed or something like that? He had to get his workout in?
Yeah.
In between naps?
Well, I mean, he's another one of these guys who's very concerned about your carbon footprint, but not his. So when he lives in Gracie Mansion in Manhattan, he likes his gym in Brooklyn, or he did like his gym in Brooklyn. I don't know if it's still open anymore, but he, instead of going to a gym around the corner, he would send this, caravan, a couple of SUVs from the New York Police Department over to Brooklyn when he would like to work out, getting up at the crack of noon.
He said, it is important to let people know the subways are safe. The mayor said during his daily briefing in response to a reporter.
Unless you get pushed onto the tracks, because there's nobody in the subways at any time of the day or night. So, there are a lot more people getting getting killed, not killed, but assaulted and stabbed and mugged on the subways.
But this is the perfect example of you don't get to pick the winners and losers. You can't tell everybody the subways are safe so that the subways keep running and then tell them the restaurants aren't safe. Doesn't make any sense. Target is safe, but your little local mom and pop is not safe. I'm sensing a trend.
Target is safe. The Target deli is not safe, right? That's the way it works.
Exactly.
If it's got deli in it, if it's got tavern in it, if it's got trattoria in it, it's not safe. Walmart, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, Grace, thank you.
Thank you, Howie.
With the incoming administration barging their way into office, they may cause some economic disturbance, you think? Tax laws are going to change, you think? Your tax burden on selling real estate will grow, definitely. Don't get caught flat-footed and squander the equity that you built up in your real estate over the years or decades. Sell today with J.J. Manning. For over 40 years, J.J. Manning has been the leading auction house in New England. From high-end homes to estates to commercial properties throughout New England, J.J. Manning can get your property sold fast and contingency-free. There is a big reason why Mass Lawyers Weekly voted J.J. Manning #1 for 4 consecutive years. Because they have a huge following of bidders who pay cash. When you sell with a broker, you pay the commission, but in an auction, the buyer pays. These are treacherous times to be in the real estate market. Commercial real estate is pallid, to say the least. Residential real estate in certain areas is through the roof, and it's through the floor in other areas. You know what I'm talking about. Don't get caught flat-footed. To learn more on how to get your property sold fast, contact Charlie Gill at jjmanning.com. With over 16,000 sales and satisfied clients, you can be the next one. Call them today at 800-521-0111, 800-521-0111, or go to jjmanning.com and get your property sold. I'm Howie Carr.
He's the guru of graft. It's Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Old New England Soap. Try the new Woodwick soy candles that burn up to 100 hours and make your home smell heaven. Right now, buy 3 and get 1 free at oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com.
Here's 1 minute of President Eric Swalwell.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
But I will always be real with you. I will be bold without the bull. Welcome to my fellow candidates, whom I consider we are all a part of being the Avengers. The Republicans in 2016, that was the Hunger Games.
And, it's said often that history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. And we heard a lot of rhymes yesterday.
My wife, Brittany, also wants you to know we've got 2 beautiful children, Nelson and Cricket. But the decision to have children was her choice.
I'm the only candidate calling for a ban and buyback on every single assault weapon. Again, we have to have an ankle monitor on this president. This is the worst possible time for a serial offender like him to be running around unsupervised.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
Jim Acosta, without a doubt, wins the competition for Trump's least favorite journalist of all time. Let's listen to some of their feistier moments.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
When I
raising
raise money, excuse me. I've watched you on television. You're a real beauty. Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
What do you think? You think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news.
You gotta ask yourself the question, do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
The Howie Carr Show.
Make something everyone will enjoy this holiday season with HelloFresh. Get fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and simple, wholesome recipes delivered to your door contact-free. Sign up today and get $80 off in savings when you use code Howie at HelloFresh.com. That's HelloFresh.com. Taylor, what's the poll question and what are the results thus far?
Should the DOJ have revealed that Hunter Biden was under federal investigation before the election?
Yes. One good leak deserves another, or I should say 1,000 leaks deserve one at least.
96% say yes.
96. All right. 844-500-4242. There were a lot of good cuts today, and some of them were from a couple of days earlier. But this one, Mike Lindell from My Pillow. He's been supporting Tucker Carlson when he's had these problems on Fox with advertiser boycotts. But it looks like Mike Lindell has really had it with Fox News here today. He's cut 31.
Why do you think Fox declared Arizona with only 14% of the vote in? They already knew what they did. They were in on it. I'm serious. They had to be in on it. Fox had me on for 4 months because I was telling this is back when we had that therapeutic for the cure. Well, Fox didn't have me on, but they had it live about 2 weeks ago at this rally. Well, you know what the headlines were around the country? Mike Lindell spews lunacy on Fox. Well, it wasn't lunacy.
And incidentally, I think it's the CDC that was saying be very careful of hydroxychloroquine, in the spring because Trump was promoting it. They've now taken down all those warnings. And is Neil Cavuto on Fox going to apologize for saying that taking hydroxychloroquine can kill you? Remember that the people took this woman and gave it to her husband out in Arizona. It was the fish tank cleaner, and she said she thought that President Trump had told her to take it, and oddly it killed her husband, but not her. How'd that work out? And so that Trump was being blamed because somebody took fish tank cleaner with hydroxychloroquine.
What can't he do? We've said it before, but we'll say it again.
And I keep coming back to this whole thing about the vaccines. The vaccines were approved. This was by Big Pharma that there's going to make billions off these vaccines. They waited until after the presidential election to announce that they'd perfected this, and he had so much going against him. It was amazing, and he won the election. He won more votes, and can there be any real question about that? 844-500-4242. But let's play the California restaurant. Oh, this is a guy. The restaurant is Nick the Greek. And but it's not he's not a Greek, and his name is not Nick. I don't know where the name came from. He's got a Dutch. It sounds like a Dutch name, but he left his tables and his chairs outside his restaurant just as a silent protest against the insanity of banning outdoor dining in California. And so they came in and they told him he was shut down, basically, even though he was following all the rules. Cut 39.
I followed the rules. I continue to follow the rules, and you guys still, time after time, are giving me citations, telling me I have to close my business. What about my employees? You're not following the rules. I am following the rules. My tables are inside. Just because the health department has a whole process to go through that takes however long that takes, I have to close my business for that time? Are you going to pay my rent? Are you going to pay my rent?
You're not following the rules. Did you know? He points out, these are not laws. These are rules. These are regulations that were just issued by some bureaucrat. I love those gym owners in New Jersey that we had on last hour, talking about how the people that are oppressing them, who are fining them $15,000 a day, they haven't missed a single paycheck in 8 or 9 months. This is not a crisis for anybody in the public sector, at least not at this point. And if you're working at the MBTA, driving on one of those empty buses, or conducting on one of those empty trains, or sitting in one of those token booths, if they still have token booths, they haven't lost a single paycheck. And the politicians want to make sure they don't, because the unions support the politicians. We'll take some calls when we come back. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
The election is behind us, and what happens next is anyone's guess. Most agree, though, that taxes will be going up in the future. Is your portfolio ready? Kevin Frisbee and the team at Frisbee & Associates want you to be sure.
If you want to come in and take advantage of that free consultation, we're going to have the 100-100 challenge. So if you have at least $100,000 in an investment account with somebody else, and you go through our processes, no obligation, you're going to be able to get a $100 bill. You could leave our office with that $100 bill, and we're going to do the comparison, and we're going to send you on your way, and then you could circle back around if you wanted to.
Call now for your no-cost, no-obligation consultation, and you could walk out with $100 cash. That's right, $100 cash. Call 800-989-9100, 800-989-9100. And be sure and catch Kevin on the Howie Carr radio program every Thursday afternoon for market reviews and tips on creating the retirement of your dreams. Call Kevin Frisbee today at 800-989-9100, 800-989-9100.
And now, some of my favorite fake Indian cuts of all time.
I'm not going to ask you for your favorite curse word. Actually, I am. Do you have a favorite curse word? Poop. Poop? Oh, that's a goody two-shoes favorite curse word if I ever heard one.
Are you kidding? Have you ever seen a woman like me look you straight in the...
Yes.
Did you see this thing that just came in? Do you have the clip of Bill Nye, the science guy, in May telling the world it's going to be at least 2 years for the vaccine?
I'll have to look for that.
Burn orchid by is that you have to figure out who you are. I grew up in a family that was barely hanging on to the ragged edge of the middle class. Can you open up the phone lines? And my Aunt B has walked by that picture.
Yeah, well, I just don't. I can't have people holding on for too long. Jacks up our phone bill.
cheekbones, like all of the Indians do.
You've been hearing me talk about super beats for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why super beats? You could take it from me. The benefits of super beats are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have
We've got the Bill Nye cut.
the time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind super beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But super beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of super beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
Cory Booker said it best.
There are definitely moments where you listen to Joe Biden and you just wonder.
Here's stumbling and mumbling Joe Biden.
David Duke, the former leader of the KKK. The Ku Klux Klan is the Ku Klux Klan. 8 more years of Donald Trump will change America in a fundamental way. But if Donald Trump is reelected, Freudian slip, and the demagogues around the world. We also have a mechanism to control drug prices. Folks at the folks at Health and the Health Department in the United States, HHS, it would put 720 million women back in the workforce. I never ever thought that I'd see what I saw in Charlotte.
Would you or would you not rejoin the TPP? Yes or no?
I would not rejoin the TTP. Well, they're going out and getting G5 and going to dominate. I mean, what are we doing? Bills that the future president here, that the senator's talking about.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. 508 says, we need Biff Buffington. Snow is on the way. We're all going to die. You know, the thing is, the snow's not coming till tomorrow. I'll try to talk Biff into coming on tomorrow, but he's been telling me, how do I out-panic the population after Charlie Parker's been doing it day in and day out for almost a year now?
Well, we have polar vortexes. Is it time for a COVID vortex?
It may be. I'm just looking at the Herald front page. Charlie Parker issues stern warning to stay home for the holidays. Stern warning. I repeat this as a recurring question whenever he issues a stern warning. Would you have voted for Charlie Parker if you knew that he was going to spend a year of your life and his life issuing you stern warnings about where you should spend Christmas, or what time you should leave the bar or the restaurant, that you could or couldn't go to church, that you couldn't go to the driving range, but you could play golf, but you couldn't have a beer on the golf course. You could have a soft drink, but not a beer. Would you have supported him if you'd known that he was going to run the trains and the buses and the subways empty for month after month after month after month? Anyway, remember Bill? There's a guy named Bill Nye, the science guy. He's not really a science guy. He doesn't even. I don't even think he has a Jill Biden Ed.D. or PhD. He plays a science guy on TV, but you're supposed to believe everything he says because he's the science guy, and his name rhymes with guy.
And he wears a bow tie.
Oh, a bow tie. Yes, that's always, oh, yes. That adds so much to the mystique of Bill Nye, the science guy. This was Bill Nye talking about the vaccine in May. This was May of this year. Listen to this.
You can't address a virus that can cross state borders at the speed of the wind without having a national or indeed international program. It's 2 years, everybody. 2 years before a vaccine.
Even with all the technology we have now.
Yeah, I think 2 years to get something that people trust.
Can we quote you on that? Bill Nye, the science guy, in your bow tie. 2 years, because it moves at the speed of wind. Wind, not light, not sound, the speed of wind. Never heard that expression before. 844-500-4242. Talk about the Grinch who stole Christmas, says 978. Yeah, the New York Post actually put Cuomo on the cover last weekend on Saturday as the you're a mean one when he shut down the restaurants. But you know what he said at the time? He said, hey, I don't know what the problem is. We've made it easier than ever for restaurant owners in New York City to have outdoor dining. You know what's happening in New York tomorrow? They're getting the same blast that New England is getting. They're make predictions of up to a foot of snow. You think there'll be a lot of outdoor dining anywhere on the East Coast tomorrow? 844-500-4240. But they don't care. They haven't missed a single bleeping paycheck. 844-500-4242. It may be time, though, to check in with Frankie McDonald tonight at some point, or maybe tomorrow, Taylor. Let's keep Frankie McDonald in mind. We may need to activate the snow team here at the Howie Carr Show. Steve, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Steve.
Hi, Howie. How you doing?
Good.
These Democrats are enough to drive you crazy. Well, you're familiar with what corporatism is, right? That's the communist government blend where only government businesses are allowed to stay open, and basically small businesses are destroyed. This is what's going on with COVID. This is like a perfect storm. I mean, how many coincidences with COVID are there going to be before we're going to realize that we smell a rat here?
Well, I already smell a rat, don't you? I mean, what I can't believe is that the number of people who are still so terrified of this, despite the fact that in most cases they maybe they know someone who was tested positive, but I mean, how many people do you actually know who have died? Steve,
absolute zero. Zero. Yeah.
There was a guy who used to work at the Herald 35 years ago. He lived in London when he died, and he died of COVID supposedly, but he had bone cancer. It's like I saw the headline in the paper about Charlie Pride dying, the black superstar in country music, and it said COVID claims country music star Charlie Pride. And I know who Charlie Pride is, so I knew how old he was, generally speaking. He was 86, but it didn't say that in the headline, and I dare say it didn't say that in most of the internet stories. They just try to scare the hell out of people. It's like what they say about the governor of South Dakota. Her grandmother died in a nursing home. After grandmother dies in nursing home after she warns that she's not going to lock down the state. They didn't tell you she didn't die of COVID, and she was 95 years old.
Those are small details in this story, Howie. I'm sure they added them somewhere at the bottom. Stop being so nitpicky.
People are asking too, is Bill Nye talking when he says that's the speed of wind? Is he talking about a hurricane or a tornado, or is he talking about a slight summer breeze? There is a real difference in the wind, but I mean, when you're the science guy, you don't need to specify. People understand what you're talking about. But they have to believe you. You're wearing a damn bow tie. Thanks for reminding me of that, Taylor.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
He's got a bow tie.
Bill.
Thanks for the call, Steve. Mike, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Howie, it's great to talk to you and to Grace. And like I told your producer, I'd like to talk to you about Governor Baker. And to be completely transparent, I voted for him both times. Had I known that he was going to act this way over the past year, I would not have voted for him this time for sure. And my guess is that residents of California, New Jersey, and New York probably would feel the same way about their governors.
I agree.
Here's the concern. Here's the concern I have. Saw a poll last week by John Keller on Channel 4. And he's been around the political scene for a long time. I like Keller. He always seems like he gives valid information. Okay, whether he does or not, I don't know, but he always seems to. His poll suggested that 71% of the residents of this state approve of the job that Baker is doing right now. Now, I never believe a poll. I don't think the numbers are ever as good or bad as it would suggest. However, it would appear, even if the numbers are inflated, that a lot of people approve of what he's doing and would probably vote for him again. So my question to you is... He's
got to get out of a primary, Mike. That's the thing. He has to get out of the Republican primary. That's where I saw that same poll. They said 15% of the people are very disturbed about it. Though of that 15%, I would say most of those people are going to be voting in the Republican primary. Did you see that Karen Polito? She claims she's not the one that's buying up all the domain names, but somebody's buying up domain names for Polito for governor. She's outraising him by hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, even the guy who's now been indicted for negligent homicide out at the Holyoke Soldiers Home, he gave more money to Polito than he did to Baker. You know, I mean, I'm not sure he's going to run. Are you?
Well, that's my question. Do you think he runs? And if he does, is there a viable Republican candidate that can challenge him?
Well, we had Jeff Deal on last night, who ran against the fake Indian in 2018, and he would like to do it. I think a lot depends on what happens. It's kind of inside baseball to a degree, but the Republican State Committee is going to have an election for chairman, and Jim Lyons is the current chairman, the former state rep, and he's not a big Baker guy, to put it mildly, even though they've in the past worked together sometimes, and they're running a state rep against Jim Lyons because they want to. The Baker people want to regain control of the state committee because they can move a lot of cash through there that they can't move into their individual accounts because you have these $1,000 or $2,000 limits for the primary and the general. But they can move hundreds of thousands through these committees. But the state committee controls the committees. So if Jim Lyons can hang on and be a thorn in Charlie Parker's side for the next year and a half, then it's going to be much more likely for a legitimate opponent, a resistance candidate, to go up against Baker. On the other hand, if Sean Dooley, I think his name is, if he defeats Lyons, he's a Baker coat holder, basically, even though he's had his own, disputes with him. It'll be much less likely that anyone will run against Baker. I'm not sure, though, that Baker wants to run. There's never been a good third term for a Massachusetts governor. You could ask Mike Dukakis about what third terms are like, especially. And the other thing is, I don't care what the polls say. I'm like you. Do you think anybody is going to look back on this in 2 or 3 years and say, Charlie Baker really did a good job wrecking the state economy? The state economy is in ruins. When is Boston coming back? Is anybody in Boston right now? Look out your window. Is there anybody on the street? Are there any cars on the street, let alone pedestrians? Are there any restaurants open other than maybe a Dunkin' here and there? Are there any stores that are that look like they're having a good holiday season? And this is on him. This is on him. Again, the most locked down states in the country are probably Massachusetts, New York, and New Jersey. Those happen to be the 3 states with the highest death rates. 844-500-4242. 603 says, don't blame me. I voted for Scott Lively. You know what? I voted for Scott Lively, too, in the primary, just to send Charlie Parker a message. I voted for him in 2010 against Small Duvall. Then I voted for him in 2014 against Marsha Coakley. But by the time 2018 rolled around, I'd figured it out. That was the first time I ever blanked a top of the ticket race. May not be the last time either if he's back running again. 844-500-4242. Another one here. This is 508. Baker is a nitwit. I'll vote for the Green Party candidate before Baker or Polito. Clowns. Clowns are funny, though. These people are, in a way, they're funny. But the damage they're doing with this mismanagement is just unbelievable. 844-500-4242. If you like to save money like I do, then you need the Eden Pure Gen 40 heater. Robert from the Cape says the Gen 40 performs like no other heater I've ever used. It is remarkable. Right, Taylor?
I am going to need it this weekend. Well, actually this week. All this snow that we're getting down my way is supposed to get a foot of snow, and it's going to be cold in the house for a while. So the Gen 40 heater is definitely going to come in handy.
Grace is holding it up right now. It's very stylish, too. It looks better, and it's safe, too. It's safe for kids and for pets.
I was just going to say, Taylor, you showed me some pictures of all of your, new rooms in your house, and I feel like this would fit in quite well. It's very sleek and
it's very modern and sleek and stylish. Yeah.
The Eden Pure Gen 40 makes you feel warmer than your furnace, and it also costs less to run. You may be working from home now, and you will need to pay close attention to the heating bills. The Eden Pure Gen 40 will pay for itself in a matter of weeks. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie Carr to get $50 off the savings price. That's EdenPure.com and use code word Howie Carr for an extra $50 off. These heaters are in high demand, so go right now to EdenPure.com. I'm Howie Carr.
You can call him Fat Boy, just don't call him late for dinner. It's Howie Carr.
Jim Acosta, without a doubt, wins the competition for Trump's least favorite journalist of all time. Let's listen to some of their feistier moments.
Boston's new slogan, Ghost.
McDonald's, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major winter storm is headed towards Massachusetts on Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. It's going to bring up to...
He hasn't updated in over a day, though, Howie, so this is not really new.
Well, this is pretty good. We'll play this at 6, right?
Okay.
We'll play it at 6.
Worried. That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
What do you think? Do you think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie. And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
But again, don't you have these wings, AOC and her group on one side?
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame, except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, I because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly. It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories, but the Times have found us.
When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
Howie Carr is back.
This 207 says they're like a Stephen King clown. You mean an evil clown? Where are the evil clown? The evil clowns seem to have been put out of business since COVID, aren't they? Were they all killed off?
That's called It, right?
Yeah, It.
I
Right.
never was a fan of those movies. Or
No.
clowns in general. Not a big clown girl myself.
I like them when they come out of the clown cars.
Oh,
It's
really?
kind of like a Charlie Baker press conference now. The only thing is the only difference is they're all wearing masks at Charlie Baker press conferences. 844-500-4242 508 says, "Don't blame me. I'm a Republican who voted for Gonsalves." I think it was Gonzalez, but I can't be sure. Who can remember? Maybe it was.
But either way, we're not blaming
Gonsalves.
you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, whoever it was better. Better choice than Charlie Parker. 844-500-4242 508. Put a D after Baker's name and it all makes sense. Yeah, it does. It would make sense, but why doesn't he switch parties? Why doesn't Larry Hogan in Maryland switch parties? Let's see here. Pat, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Pat.
Hi, Howie.
Hi.
Hi, Howie. We're keeping our restaurants here in Guilford, Connecticut in business as best we can. Guilford Rotary had a raffle. We sold 2,000 raffle tickets, and the first prize was a $100 gift certificate to all 30 restaurants. And then we had a profit from the raffle, so we took that and we plowed it back into more gift certificates. So I just spent the afternoon picking up $12,000 worth of gift certificates from local restaurants.
Well, that's great. That's good work, Pat. That's good. I don't think Connecticut, but I wouldn't have thought this, but Lamont, it doesn't seem as insane or demented as most of the other governors in New England, is he?
You just don't hear him. We never hear him on the radio.
He's in the witness protection program, so he can't make a fool out of himself like the other four. At least I'm accepting Sununu here, although Sununu has his bad days as well. So that's good. I'm glad you're doing that, Pat, and thank you. I'm sure the restaurants are grateful, and it's going to take so long for if another 6 months, another 8 months. How many are going to reopen in the spring? As I asked Frank Mendoza from the north end of Boston last night, and if you shut down like 60-70% of the restaurants in the Commonwealth and throughout New England and New York and New Jersey, and all these small businesses, how long is it going to take? How many decades is it going to take for them to come back? It's just so appalling. Dan, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Howie, thanks for taking my call. You've been asking what is the end game to this. I know exactly what the end game is. Laura Ingram's talked about it. Prince Charles has talked about it. Robert Kennedy Jr. and Prime Minister Trudeau has talked about it. It's called the Great Reset.
Tell me what I've heard about the Great Reset, but I haven't been paying much attention. It's just that's sort of you're talking about like one world globalism, right?
Yeah, let's get into conspiracy.
Yeah. 844-500-4242 603 says Boston's new slogan is "Ghost Town Strong." That's not bad. That's what it seems to look like. Everything all boarded up. There's no, there's none of the holiday cheer of earlier years. I think there was more holiday cheer during World War II or during the Great Depression than there is this year, just because everything is shut down. They at least made an effort in earlier problem time periods than they're making now. Now they're reveling in this. They just can't get enough of it. They like bossing people around. 844-500-4242. Stand by for a lot more of these stories when Joe Biden is president. ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, lodged an immigration detainer on a Salvadorian national serving time for a murder conviction. In California, the request was not honored, and Carlos Morales Ramirez was released onto the streets December 4th. He'd been convicted of second-degree murder, assault on a child causing death, and great bodily harm to a child causing death by the Superior Court of California, but they let him go after he finished his sentence as an illegal alien. They didn't want him deported. He killed a kid, a young child, and the state of California let him go. ICE's ERO, Emergency Removal Office, LA officers arrested Morales Ramirez during a targeted enforcement action on December 10th, and he's going to be deported. You know what the difference is? In 6 weeks or so, Joe Biden is going to say, "Don't pick him up. Just they murdered a kid. Let him go. Let him go." It would be racist and nativist to pick up the guy just because he killed a child and he's an illegal alien. Let him go. I'm Howie Carr.
People call us all the time and say, "Hey, Matthews Brothers, these are uncertain, difficult, unprecedented, strange, troubled, turbulent, and challenging times we're living in. Not to mention crazy." To which we say, "Hello, New England. It's your old pal, Chris here. Guess what? This is no longer the sound of a Matthews carol. Instead, it's the sound of a wicked big thank you to Teddy, Gino, Linda, Christine and Emmy, the boys from Brio, Captain Dave, Leslie, William and Marion, George and Rick, Jared, Grace, Taylor, and Howie for lending their voices to raise money for some great organizations. It's also the sound of us thanking those of you out there who have endured our annual wicked annoying carols for all these years. This healthy dose of reality has been brought to you by your pals at Matthews Brothers.
Matthews Brothers, Matthews Brothers, Matthews with one T. America's oldest window manufacturer are we.
And now, some of my favorite fake Indian cuts of all time.
I'm not going to ask you for your favorite curse word. Actually, I am. Do you have a favorite curse word? Poop. Poop? Oh, that's a goody two-shoes favorite curse word if I ever heard one.
Are you kidding? Have you ever seen a woman like me look you straight in the face after you finished some long explanation of something and you said, poop? Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me a beer.
I am not sure what she's talking about as far as a rally with.
It was a rally burn. Is that you have to figure out who you are. I grew up in a family that was barely hanging on to the ragged edge of the middle class. And my baby has walked by that picture 1,000 times. That her father, my papa, had high cheekbones like all of the Indians did.
He is the senator going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city. He's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about haters?
Have you ever had a LGBTQ law clerk?
I've been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you so dramatic?
I'm a big believer. America, if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DeStefano will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have thicker hair so I can even wear it longer. a few decisions made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair creation is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the difference from having a full hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
I tested positive. Let's use this example of me having it as proof. To get it to, God forbid, the rest should be staying at home for our mothers and the people that we love, and to keep us farther apart will ultimately bring us closer together in this cause. We have to do everything we can to avoid being sick. No matter where the virus goes, the way to stop it will always be the same. Our collective conscientious actions. Staying home. Home saves lives. I don't want some jack loser, fat tire biker get in my and talk to me. I don't want to hear it. Here it is, the official re-entry from the base.
You're a phony. Hey, this guy's a great big phony.
Cleared by CDC. A little sweaty. Just worked out.
Oh my.
This is going to sound immodest, but I'm obviously a top-tier candidate. I've had a lot of titles over my career, and certainly Vice President will be great, but Mamala will always be the one that means the most. They said, well, do you think Trump is responsible for happening? And I said, well, I mean, obviously he didn't trigger, but he's certainly been tweeting out the ammunition. And that's why do gotta go. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are sick. That is why we put them in dormitories. You know, I'm just gonna engage in real talk. I don't want to waste your time with anything else.
What is your favorite musical genre?
Oh, I mean, I'm pop and reggae and jazz. Those are some of my favorites.
Okay.
Have you ever?
I have. And I inhale. I did inhale.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
They're outlandish, they're outrageous, and they're hypocrites. They're the women of The View.
Bernie was so meant that moment like a real... I actually am aroused by him. Timothy McVeigh was a Christian. Just Hitler was a... Well, he didn't like the Catholic. Needs to be medicated and hospitalized at this point, or he's going to just kill all of us. I mean, wait till the hammer and sickle is on the American flag before we stand up to this guy?
Joy, you've worn blackface.
I did not go in blackface, please.
No, she was not in blackface.
Thank you. It was a Halloween party. I went as a beautiful... Do you have tanning lotion on, Joy? A little makeup that was a little bit darker than my skin.
I'm hoping Dr. J becomes a surgeon. She's a hell of a doctor.
Whoopi,
If you